All right, here we go. Mob James, welcome back. It's been like 6 months or something.
Right.
But now we're back.
Always a pleasure, man.
Always a pleasure and an honor.
Right.
And an honor, man. And, congratulations on everything you've been doing on your end.
Appreciate it.
The Gangster Chronicles is continuing to grow.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. And we'll talk about it, all that at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? But right now, what we have to talk about, this is October 31st today when we're recording this. By the time this comes out, we're going to be a day or two away from the election, a day before the election, actually.
Right.
And it's very important that everyone that's listening to this right now goes out and votes.
I kind of beg to differ, but
you beg to differ.
I talked to a lady at the store coming out the supermarket, and she was telling me it's important to vote. But the way I look at it is, being in the neighborhood, you don't see no change. You don't see the difference in anything. You don't get the pleasure of, what do I get out of voting? You know what I'm saying? All of these presidents are the same thing. So she tried to enlighten me on, you don't have to vote on the president. Vote on 15. Vote on Proposition 22. The other things that you should focus on that will change the community. But I don't see that. And I haven't seen it in 50-some years. What benefits do I get for even doing it? So and they wouldn't let me vote after I came out of the penitentiary. So I never tried to.
What, can you vote as a ex-felon?
I've been out of prison 30 years. I've been out since 88. I don't know, and I'm really not tripping. So yes, I'm uneducated with the voting and that politics shit because it never really concerned me. It never really concerned me. People might say, damn, that's crazy. But there's a whole lot of motherfuckers out there like me that, what do I get out of it?
Well, I'm looking it up right now. You can register to vote in California if you're not currently on parole for the conviction of a felony.
No.
So since you are not on parole, you can register and vote. Well, like that lady told you, outside of the presidency, there's a lot going on in California in terms of state propositions.
Right.
In terms of, for example, they're looking to take away cash-based bail and just have bail set on, get rid of all the bail bondsmen and everything else like that. So it's not going to be based on getting bail if you just have a bunch of money. There's funding for schools. You have a grandchild that you're raising right now. You care about that. There's a proposition about diversity in public employment, education, and contracting decisions.
Right.
There's a lot going on.
Right.
There's a lot going on. And let me tell you, the racist people who don't want this to change, they are voting for these propositions.
Right. And that's the scary part. But I'm not. I really don't know too much shit about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being honest. I've never been into the political aspect. The more I see Trump or Biden on TV is when I go to my auntie house. That woman, that's all that channel don't move, nothing moves. And that's all I look at it then. And, just to see the stupid shit and hear that, what he gonna do if he lose the elections and all that. Man, who got time for that type of shit? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I voted for Biden. I also voted for a lot of stuff in California.
Let me ask you, what's the difference between Biden and Trump?
The difference?
Yeah.
Well, you could clearly see race relations being much worse in America.
Damn sure is.
Under Trump. I don't think that's even something you could debate right now.
Exactly.
Not to say that America was not racist under Obama, but this black versus white thing that's happening, I am not feeling it one bit.
It was nothing like Obama. You have people out there that's showing. I'm talking about straight coming out the closet with their racism.
Right.
And Trump supporting that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He thinks that's his base.
But
and it's true to a certain degree.
Okay, so would you be mad at 50 Cent? Would you be mad at Ice Cube? Because I see a lot of people bashing Ice Cube.
Let's talk about Ice Cube. That was
Right.
on one of the things that I was going to actually discuss. What I think Ice Cube is doing, he has something called the CWB, Contract with Black America,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where he laid out a bunch of things that he felt would benefit the Black community. According to him, he went to the Democrats and they weren't really giving him a lot of traction. So he went to the Republicans and they met with him. I think he met with he met with Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And what I think is he has good intentions. Point blank, period.
I think people, when you don't lay it out there fully, I think we as Black people, me as a Black man, just misunderstand where he coming from. I don't think he's a sellout. I think he's trying to do something for his people. I don't see Ice Cube going against his race to make $1. I don't see that. And, a lot of people don't see it, but they're not going to call it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the cold part about it. We don't stick together. We're not, let's just say, we're not for each other when we should be.
Yeah. I think Ice Cube had good intentions of trying to do something with whoever ends up in power.
Right.
The problem is that if you look at the last 4 years, every Black person that stood with Trump in any capacity, either physically or symbolically, it has not worked out for that person. At all. From
Totally
Steve Harvey to Kanye to Lil Wayne now. We'll show that picture of Lil Wayne right now standing next to Trump in his little shirt.
I'm gonna sit back and just watch it unfold, but why would they jump on that wagon? And I said this on the show before. We're sitting here harming ourselves and we watching the chaos, the BS that Trump is putting in front of you. They told him to denounce the white supremacy. He wouldn't do it. They support him.
Mm-hmm.
If anything happened to them, they said they self. It's a war. I say get ready for the war. Because do I think Trump gonna win? I really don't think he's gonna win. But he might. What happens?
No one thought he was gonna win last time.
Lord have mercy. What happens if you do? We in trouble.
Well, if we do, it'll just be
the world is in trouble.
The same shit that's been happening now. 100,000 new cases of COVID.
Right.
People dying.
Why would those dudes jump? Why would Lil Wayne support him and don't have an agenda? Why would he say support him? Man, at some point we got to see where we going.
Maybe there is an agenda. I mean, for example, you're old enough to remember Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
With his head on Nixon's shoulder, which he never was able to live down. From what I heard in that situation was that he had some massive tax bill and Nixon was able to just make that go away. Now, does Wayne have a similar situation? I don't know. Did Trump come in and go and fix the situation with Birdman?
No. I just think I just think we need to grow up. I think we need to, and I'll be the first to say, I need to educate myself. You know what I'm saying? And I know it ain't too late for me to do that. For me to understand this system. I don't understand this system.
Well, look, for example, when I went to go vote and I voted by mail, I went and started looking up the different propositions, and like there's judges up for election and everything else like that. Since I'm in California, the LA Times actually had a very good breakdown of all the candidates and who they're endorsing and why.
Right.
So I got to just read through that and see what they're saying. And since they're a publication that I respect, I voted with them on a majority of things.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? There are things out there, there are resources out there that you could look it up and you could educate yourself when you don't know. And voting by mail is really a big advantage because you could actually just sit there and work it all out in your spare time, as opposed to being in that booth and seeing 20 propositions and you don't know what's what, and a bunch of judges' names and you don't know who the...
Right, just get to checking shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'll be ready the next time.
All right. It's never too late. It's never too late because let me tell you, a lot of your relatives got beat up, got killed, got lynched because they didn't want them to vote.
Right.
Having to pay extra fees and, like out in Selma and all that type of stuff just so they could vote.
Right.
And now when you have a chance to vote and you don't vote, all the Trump supporters are all voting.
I know.
They're all going out there hard.
But I mean, it's really not like my choices were easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of brothers out there like me that feel the same way or can't vote. So we at a disadvantage already. But is it my fault that I haven't tried? I've been out of prison 30 years.
Yep.
A little over 30 years. That's my fault.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So my Martin Luther Kings, my Malcolm X's, man, I mean, those were my black leaders. But I was still in the trenches. I wasn't paying attention to that. My mindset, my mind frame wasn't there. And at that time, I really didn't give a hoot about anything else in the world but the neighborhood or what was going on in it.
Right.
So now I'm learning my lesson. Now I'm understanding. Now I see the damage. You know what I'm saying? I see what I destroyed and I can make it better if I did vote. So
not only can you make it better by voting yourself, but you also have a louder voice than you've ever had before.
True.
With your podcast and your social media and everything else like that. And people look up to you for direction. In the same way I looked up to the LA Times to see, a direction as to how I should vote. There are millions of people that look up to Mob James and say, well, if he's saying this and he's saying to vote for this proposition and he's saying to vote for this judge, or, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
or
Biden need to hear this and need to come and get me to stand by him. And
there you go.
And come on, my people, let's do this.
There you go.
It's a lot of people mad at him. The 3 strike laws. You know what I'm saying? So I could have been a victim of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kamala Harris doesn't have a great track record when it comes to locking people up as well.
Who does, though? I mean, everybody on this planet done fucked up. A lot of people on this planet, we are greedy. We are very greedy.
Yeah.
And greed takes you there.
And think about it as well. You will now, if Biden wins, you will now have the first black and female vice president in the nation's history.
Right.
And think about all the little girls out there who say, wow, I could do it now.
Right.
Think about the change, because you and I are old enough to remember that a black U.S. president was a joke that comedians would make.
Right.
Chris Rock did a whole routine about it. Tupac wrote a song. I know it's heaven sent, but we ain't ready to have a black president. And we got one for 2 terms. And he did not get arrested. No one around him went to prison.
None of that bullshit.
He didn't start a war. The economy recovered under his watch. He didn't, he didn't get head in the Oval Office like Bill Clinton. Right. He didn't get impeached like Nixon. He could have done a lot to make the black community look bad. And he did none of that. He did his job in exemplary fashion.
But he set the standards so high. And look where we at now. With what we have now.
Yeah.
The standard is, he's being accused of all kind of shit. Now, it didn't happen then on his watch, but he set the standard for the next president. And it was just a waste of fucking time.
Yeah.
We are still stuck and stagnated in the same bullshit that we've been getting.
Yeah.
And it just throws me off. And I feel being in the position I'm in now and people listening and people understanding, I think if people can sit back and listen to James McDonald, then people understand a lot more than I thought they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And wow. It's, oh man, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say, man. It's hard for me right now because, I get choked up on certain situations, but it's just so crazy how things has changed from my life. And I look at it, what if they wouldn't have changed? The grandkids, where would they be? What would they be doing? Who they got to look up to? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to raise a 4-year-old boy to be something I never was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at how the world is today and say, damn, I got a challenge. This is going to be hard. You know what I'm saying? To respect the police to a certain extent now, because I've had the pleasure to befriend some that's been cool, real good, and that don't show racism. You know what I'm saying? That I have a good understanding with. So telling my grandson when he say, Papa, police behind us. Okay, sit down in your seat. Stop unfastening your seatbelt. We gonna go to jail. I just made the biggest mistake with him, telling him that. Now he say, Papa, they're the police over there. We finna go to jail. So I gotta be careful, how I talk, and what he see is, and you see all of this BS shit out here, and it's way different for me, Vlad. It's way different.
Well, you're raising your 4-year-old grandson
Yeah.
on your own.
Yes.
Your daughter, who is your son's mother, is currently locked up.
Incarcerated, yeah.
She's getting out soon.
She got another year.
Another year.
Yeah.
How long did she get altogether?
She got 4 years for she was, I'm not glorifying what she did, but she had issues with her mother. Her mother was over, doing certain things, and she had a standoff with the police. Like, motherfuckers want me, come get me. And she was already on probation for, I think, robbery or some shit like that. And what her mother been to prison for. All the help that I gave her, all the help that I thought I could give her, didn't change nothing. And while she was on the street and social people came in and they wanted to take my grandson and my granddaughter, my whole thing was, I'm not gonna let no white people, I'm not gonna let no Asians, I got to take this. This is my seed, this is mine. And they wouldn't give him to me because of my past history, what I did 30 years ago. And I didn't understand it. So I had my sister step up and get him. And we kind of like played the system. He's with me every day until it's time for him to visit these people. And it was a good thing for me because I'm raising him like I didn't have the chance to raise my other 2 sons, not living with the mother, but mentally, physically, I'm okay, I got y'all, I'm there, but not on a daily basis. So I'm seeing where I could have been with my 2 boys, but they good, college students, they did all that. So my daughter, she chose to do it her way. You know, regardless of what daddy was saying before, I raised her for 7 years. 7 years, 5 months, almost 7.5 years. While her mama did her 8-year bid, 9 years in prison. And what I did was when her mother was released, I told her mother, you got to give me a year to show me you're on your feet, what you're doing, before I can even think about letting her come back home. So raising a daughter was deep. You know, having her little red pad thing, the administration thing going on, freaked me the fuck out. Just, you know, so it was crazy. Now I let her go back home. Now she over there with her mother. Her mother, she got married. She went to church. But right after my daughter come back, I give her back. It just fell apart. And I didn't know. Because I'm out here on the motorcycle set. I'm riding my bike all over the state. And before I know it, she's pregnant. And it's like, wow. So I have this talk with her. Then, you're pregnant again? Wow. So the father got my granddaughter, and I was lucky to get Lionel.
Right. And your grandson's father is doing 18 years?
He's doing 18 years. So Lionel didn't have no help. It was.
What did he go in for?
Kidnapping, attempted murder.
Wow.
They was doing their thing. They was out there doing their thing. And, you know, I can't knock them because at that age, I was out there doing my thing.
Right.
And didn't want to listen to no motherfucking body tell me what's right and wrong. And our kids today think they know everything. So helping her with paying her restitution, helping her with paying all this other shit. Since she been in jail, I haven't sent her shit. She have to realize, just because you went to jail don't mean I'm finna send you some stamps. I made sure you was good when you was here. So she understanding her position way more than me pacifying her while she in prison. Sweetheart, your daddy been in prison. I'm not finna, and I don't want to hear the propaganda bullshit. Oh, I'm gonna be like this when I come home. Show us you're gonna be like that. But when she come home, she gonna have an apartment and she gonna have a car. And now we on our feet. Now you gotta do what you gotta do, but Lionel gonna stay here a year with me until you together.
It's a lot of work. A lot of work to raise a 4-year-old.
A lot of work.
Yeah. And actually, you recently got divorced.
Well, I just went and filed my divorce last month.
Right.
And, you know, she was a big help with him.
I bet.
You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, thank God I'm only doing it once a week. But I have the support of my sisters, my nephew, and everybody else. But, you know, my relationship, it just took its toll. And I don't know if it was, you know, my situation now, what I got going on now, or whatever. I mean, we ended it with a conversation, and it was just, be honest with me, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Are you 100% in this? No. And we both was on the same page. So we both decided, well, if we ain't gonna give each other 100, then we shouldn't do it. So I got up Monday morning and went and got the papers. Can you fill this part out? She filled it out. I gave up $550. And I'm just waiting for him to say it's over.
Hey, listen, if both parties could walk away civilly,
I'm happy.
I think that's great.
I don't want her to see this part, but I'm in a good place, and I hope she in a good place. And people don't break up like that on every day, whether she choose to befriend me or not. I'm gonna forever have something for her in my heart. because I've been with her. That was my ride or die. She was
You guys were married how long?
2013, 2014, somewhere around there. 6, 7 years.
6, 7 years, yeah.
But been together since 06.
14 years.
And she was on the motorcycle set with me. I met her on the bike set through my club, and you know, I was double pistol. She had the pistol and them big ass titties, and and I swear to God, to you, Vlad, if a motherfucker looked at me wrong, she had her shit out. I dare you.
Oh, she would pull out guns on people.
She was with the business, and
an actual ride or die,
straight Bonnie 100. And I fell in love with that. But then it's something totally different without the bike set and the guns and just in the fast lane. It was something totally different.
Yeah, I mean, with relationships, when the situations change and the people change and people grow, or sometimes they decline or whatever else, that's the challenge of the relationship.
Right.
Can the relationship morph and adapt to the new situation?
Right.
This is why you see so many times, you see couples like Hulk Hogan and his wife, married for 30 years. They get on a reality show, a year later they're divorced, and now she's dating an 18-year-old. Like, you just see this all the time.
Right.
As the situation changes and as the public gets a little more involved in the relationship, it just kind of potentially puts a lot more strain on it. But the one thing I've noticed that, with my relationships and my long-term relationships is that even though I may not be with this person anymore, with this woman anymore, that there's still the respect.
Right.
And there's still the friendship.
Right.
And you still want the best for them.
Right.
And there is sometimes level of, we run into each other or we talk or whatever else. And sometimes years go by without that happening. But, and I look at this not only with my female relationships, but with my relationships with friends, male friends, is that, look, if we had a long run where we had a lot of good memories, I'm not going to go out and speak bad about you.
Right.
Even if y'all speaking bad about me.
Right.
You're not going to hear me say anything bad about people I consider my friends.
And that's the hardest part, because people that I've befriended, people that I've helped, you can say all the bad shit you want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even with this shit, doing this podcast shit, so many people come out and don't even know me and be fucked up and woo and woo. I look at all the good comments and it outweighs everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I choose not to respond to a whole bunch of shit because it's a waste of energy. And then I look at all of these other people in the industry and the shit that was going on when I was fucking with Suge and them, and the neighborhood, everything crossed. And I know what not to do. I know where not to go. I'm not finna be out here and because you see Mob James on YouTube, I'm acting like Mob James out there in the street on some gangbanging ass shit. I am me. I'm gonna stay me, and this shit. It don't matter to me.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
Well, at one point, Ice Cube started working with Death Row a little bit on the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. You did Natural Born Killers with Dre.
Yeah.
Were you around during that time?
No, I never met Ice Cube. I've seen him before, but never met him. Never personally like, hey, what's happening with your brother? No. I wasn't on that page. I was far from the groupie gangster kind of thing. I mean,
right.
They were regular motherfuckers to me. People. They was regular people.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you. I feel you. Because I think we're right around, the 27-year anniversary of Eazy-E's last album, where he did the Compton City G's and everything else like that. Now, you were around Death Row during that time. So when Eazy, BG Akon, and Dresta dropped Real Compton City G's, which was dissing Dre and Snoop and everyone, and took some shots at Suge as well.
Right.
How did the death row entourage take that?
Everybody, even in the neighborhood, the whole nine, everybody took it okay. They dissing. Death row diss back. You pretty much kind of like on the gang shit. Oh, we see these niggas is this and that. I mean, retaliation for everything. Just like with Eiht and Quick. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is on the death row side. Everybody that don't like them is against them. And anything could have happened at any given time with it. Some of the shit was funny, but some of the shit was so real that people could have lost their lives. Some motherfuckers got their ass whooped behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Behind that song.
But yeah.
What in that song was you felt was real?
None of it was real. I mean, half of the shit that they be talking about is real shit. Eazy still got paid from Dre, and I don't know what those cats' relationship really was, but
right.
I mean, it was kind of like a joke. Vlad, I mean, I be trying to watch what I say now because motherfuckers be just, oh, he was on Vlad talking. No, let me see. When they did that, everybody was feeling. Whoever played that song pretty much got rushed, got their ass whooped.
Like in the club?
From both sides. No, just on the street. Just you hearing the motherfucker in the parking lot bumping that shit.
You were just approaching.
Yeah.
Really?
Any Crip and Blood will tell you. When certain songs like that came out, like with the Eiht and them song, I told people, I'm bumping Quick and I got dumped on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
Yeah, so it had its effects. It had its issues with it.
Right. So for example, I interviewed Anthony Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who played Ezell from Friday.
Right.
But he played Eazy-E in the Dre Day video.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So then, did I tell you the story before?
No.
Did I go into all this? Okay.
I heard about it though.
So Eazy-E went and hired him to play the fake Eazy-E in real Compton City G's.
Right.
They did a day of shooting. He's doing this thing, whatever else. Suge Knight gets wind of it. Calls him into his office and said, if you continue with this role, we're going to fuck you up.
He called me into his office.
Before the Eazy-E video.
Before the Eazy video is done. We just done half of Eazy video, like we done one day of it. So I had to go back tomorrow to finish it. But Suge called me into the office. He like, man, you can't finish that video. I'm like, what? I don't have nothing against Dre. I don't have nothing against Eazy. I'm a comedian. I'm trying to pay my rent.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't do it. I'm like, what you mean I can't do it? He already paid me. Suge pulled a gun out. Pow. I said, you can't do it. I won't do it.
So what I never knew until I interviewed him is that if you watch that video, there are actually two fake Eazy-E's in that video. Yeah. There's someone else.
He didn't do it.
He, you know, and he called the Eazy-E. You know, he called Eazy-E. He was like, "Hey man, listen, Suge is on my head, and you know, and well, we're not gonna pay you." He's like, "I don't care if you pay me. We're just gonna, man, I can't do it." So there's two Eazy-E's in that video,
and that's crazy that he allowed.
Even though Suge hired him to do the same thing.
Exactly. Stop getting his money.
Yeah.
For him not to get his money.
Yeah.
But he was a bully like that. He did his thing. Suge was a businessman. And, you know, I just had the pleasure. I just seen Sharitha in Vegas. And we both agreed not to continue to keep our foot on Suge's neck. Suge going through a lot of shit. You know, I heard he got trying to get out in 6 years. But I heard he has this book, he's on this video talking about the Tupac and Biggie thing. I really want to hear it, what he has to say. I don't think Suge is in a position to to speak out like that, because that would affect a lot of people and himself. But hell, Keefy D got a deal. If he can get a deal like that, say what the fuck you want, I guess.
Keefy has a new deal that he's working on?
No, I mean, just, not going to jail.
Oh, yeah.
That whole situation
the deal with law enforcement.
And I don't understand why people...
Oh, wait. Are you saying that Suge is looking to testify?
Oh, no. Hold up, let me clarify this shit right here. I heard
yes,
that Suge was doing a death row, whatever, doing something with death row, and he's on a video talking about the Tupac. Suge never spoke on that particular Tupac and Biggie in depth, like I heard they say he is. Okay. So I'm just saying I want to hear that. So,
okay, fair enough. Well, what's actually interesting, just recently, Suge Knight's old Malibu house has hit the market for $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen this house?
Yep.
$30
million?
That's how much it's being sold for right now.
Damn.
For just one house. 30 million.
Is it going for 30 million because it was Suge Knight's house?
Not in the least.
Okay.
Not in the least. It was actually bought by some tech guy.
Right.
And I think he did some remodeling. I guess there's a massive studio in there. There's like 17 different Grammy artists that recorded in there, from Justin Timberlake to whoever else.
Okay. I see what
but that house, I mean, it's Malibu. It's prime real estate.
Right.
It's a huge plot of land.
$30 million got everything in it.
30 million. He owned it back in 2001, I think.
Probably paid. I don't even think all the Suge property was like Reggie said, lease or whatever. But I don't want to talk about Suge.
No, but I'm saying he owned that, and it just kind of goes to show, like, yo, if things had just worked out differently, I've always said this, he'd probably be a billionaire by now. This is just one piece of property that he could have sold for 30.
I think
30 million.
Just being young, you made a lot of right choices, but a whole bunch of bad decisions. And the bad decisions you made fucked it up for everything and everybody.
Well, this interview hasn't dropped yet, but it's a very interesting look into the night that Tupac got killed.
Right.
I interviewed the actor Leon.
Uh-huh.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
He did Above the Rim with Tupac.
Yeah.
The night of the Mike Tyson and Selden fight, he was sitting next to Tupac. They just happened to have seats near each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, what was Pac like that night? Because this was literally maybe a couple of hours before he gets killed.
Right.
And what he said was that Pac, and Tyson was Pac's friend. I mean,
right.
He visited Tyson in prison and everything else like that. He said that Pac was screaming and jumping up the entire fight. What was the vibe like in terms of him? Like, because he obviously did not know what was about to happen.
Be honest with you, man, he was beyond rambunctious. I mean, he was yelling at the referee to the point where the referee could hear him. He was calling the other guy a bum. It was like he was going off. I mean, he had a lot of energy that night.
I think to the point where the refs even had to tell him to be quiet. He was just like, get him. Oh, fuck that. Just going overboard with the energy of the fight. And we talked about how shortly after was when Pac sees Orlando.
Right.
When Trayvon Lane tells Pac and everyone else, that's the guy.
Allegedly, Trayvon said it.
Yeah, allegedly. Said that, hey, that's the dude that
right.
that got my chain or tried to take my chain
right.
in the mall. And we talked about how, and look, you and I have both been to boxing matches and UFC fights.
Right.
As a man, you get charged up. You feel like that's you in the ring with that guy to a certain degree. Everyone's different.
Right.
But if you're screaming, rah, rah, rah,
Right.
think about the testosterone and the energy that's built up. And then suddenly 30 minutes later or so, there's someone that you could target all that aggression and energy towards.
He had that energy, period. And people bash me for saying it, but I bet this guy you interview with would agree with me that he was a different Tupac. And he involved himself. And I only say this, I don't hate Tupac. I never had nothing against him, but the gang banging from the hood and touching Orlando, he shouldn't have never did that. It was people from Compton there, which the homeboys or whatever, that knew who Orlando was.
Your brother.
Exactly. And if they wanted to take off on him, that's what they should have did, not Tupac.
Do you think, in retrospect, if Pac didn't run at Orlando and punch him, do you think that anyone in that entourage would have even approached Orlando?
No. If anyone wouldn't have got at him, Tupac should have let that. He wouldn't have never knew.
But they were all, suited and booted, wearing nice clothes. I don't think any of them were out there to fight.
No.
I didn't get that impression, just by the way they were dressed.
Well, everybody knew that those guys, the South Side was going to be in Vegas. The beef is on already.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that they was coming. It was being told from both sides. So people were prepared for them to come. But bunch of them went to the fights. Mm-hmm. So you ain't finna go to the fight all thugged up and all of that other shit. So they was already, They was ready to go to the fight, to 662 and get the party on.
That's it.
The party finna crack. That's it.
That's it.
And I want people to understand that part. Now, when Tupac see this dude or was told that that's the cat, he took it upon himself to go bam.
Right. And listen, Tupac is by no means a soft guy. He's an aggressive guy.
I never said he was.
He's gotten into a lot of fist fights with people, friends and enemies.
Right.
He's been in a lot of shootings and so forth. So I'm not trying to imply that suddenly this fight put a battery in Tupac's back that was never there before. But had Tupac not gotten all hyped up the way he did with watching Tyson and screaming at the refs and just doing the most, I'm thinking that things would have played out a little differently.
Probably so.
Probably and it just goes to show how men really need to check themselves in terms of their aggression and their emotions and their testosterone and everything else like that. Because I could think of situations myself when I was just hyped up and feeling a certain type of way, I would get in stupid situations that I regretted.
What we need to do is every man has a lane, and we all should know our lane. We all should know our position, the roles we play. And I don't care what type of game, whatever we involved in, we got to know our lane. I know my role. And everybody that was there knew their roles. Tupac didn't know what role he was playing at that point. And he reacted to a situation through a conversation. And he shouldn't have never did that.
Yeah.
And all of those guys, Suge, this ain't just the start of it. And Suge should have been on, now, you're worth too much money for me to let you get out here and be reckless like them. This should have been a conversation that should have took place a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? I once told Suge, why do you got to be in the limelight? We got this.
Yeah. Now, I remember in the Showtime documentary about Suge, American Nightmare,
right,
where Suge said after Pac attacked Orlando, he said, well, you hot in music, now you're going to be hot in the streets. And to me, that was sort of a very strange statement of like, it should have been a very different conversation.
That's a conversation you tell a motherfucker when you welcome them to the hood and they first drive by, they first, they put it down. You're in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
Welcome to the hood.
Right.
But
which is the exact opposite of where Tupac should be right now.
Totally.
Tupac is the biggest celebrity / rapper, artist, musician, whatever you want to call it, pretty much in the world at that point.
Right.
Last thing you want him is to punching, especially you're on appeal right now, right?
Yeah.
He had just gotten out, but he was still facing those rape charges. He was going to go, he was out on bail.
Right.
And
after that case right there, if the shooting wouldn't have happened, they probably would have revoked his bond and everything.
Right.
He'd have went to jail.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
because Suge went back to jail for that same fight.
Exactly. And they all would have went back to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, they didn't handle him like they should have handled him. They let him do him and accepted him to be one of us when, come on, man, you the money. And everybody on this planet can see. Once Tupac died, everybody else should have went on and died because it was over. And that's how important he was to the whole damn thing. And they not paying attention. Yeah. They get mad at me when I say this shit.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck. The truth is the truth. And man, you take $5 million and you sit it on the brick wall. You think a motherfucker ain't gonna walk past and try to get at it? You know what I'm saying? And then they know if they cut their head off the chicken, everything else is fucked up.
Well, there's a story that came out recently. Will Smith was telling it, and he was at the BET Awards, and Michael Jackson was there.
Okay.
And it was like his lifelong dream to meet Michael Jackson. And he just couldn't get close to him because, Michael Jackson got a million people around him, whatever else. Then out of nowhere, Suge Knight got into some altercation at the BET Awards. Were you there at all for this? Or
No.
No. Okay. So then suddenly Will Smith security grabbed him and had to just clear him out of the area. So they threw him in a security closet. And who was in the security closet? Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Right. So the two of them started talking. And in the conversation, Will Smith said that both him and Michael Jackson both agreed that Suge Knight caused a lot of trouble. And Michael said, Suge just can't figure out how to be happy. This is Michael Jackson talking.
I can believe it. That's one of all of our reasons. We got to find ourselves. I couldn't be happy for shit until that snap. And then it's like, damn, you got to change. Shit ain't working. But I mean, I don't have too much to work with, so how do I get out of it? Just like Suge, I'm in it now. Once you got your feet in the door, I can't turn around because now they're gonna look at me a different kind of way. Now I gotta step my game up because this is what I want to be anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we doing shit, and we make ourselves think we don't have a choice but to do it. But he's looking good at the same time. Just be Suge Knight and everything would have been cool.
Well, I just interviewed Michael Jai White again.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Me too. One of my favorite people. And he had run into Suge once or twice before.
Right.
It was all friendly. It was, everything
right.
cool. And he said this one time, he was in Malibu, some restaurant. And, Michael's a big dude.
Yeah.
Not only tall, but really muscular.
Right?
And he said Suge was like standing by like a railing, like over the ocean, whatever, with like a lady with him, no security, nothing else like that.
Yeah.
Michael saw him. So he was like, oh, I'm going to go up to him and say, what's up? So he said he started walking towards Suge. And Suge didn't recognize him. He said Suge was getting ready to like jump over the railing.
And he was just in a jovial mood. Like he was just kind of, just looked like he was just having fun. He was out there. And I was just so surprised. And I walked toward him. And he turned as I was walking toward him. And he like bristles. and he kind of looks over the back, and I went
like he was about to jump off.
Like, I didn't know what was, but he just was like, he got real tense. And I walked up and I'm like, hey, and I kind of grabbed him on the shoulders, like, you okay? He goes, yo, man. He says, I'm out here chilling with my lady or whatever, and I see you walking up, and he says instantly he just sees threat.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, yeah, but we got no beef. He says, yeah, but I had to. He said like he had to like put it together, like, yo, do we have beef? Like, and so I was like, no, we ain't got no beef. But it was a funny moment.
Right. And Michael's like, no, man, it's me, Suge. It's Michael Jai White, the actor. He's like, oh, okay. I thought it was someone I had some beef with, and I'm just here with my lady, and it's like,
and that's how you had to live. That right there proves a point, man, because a lot of your incidents, you had a lot of people with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you going to do when all of those people are gone? And when people start realizing that the entourage ain't there no more, the security ain't there no more, now they see that they can take these shots and do whatever. So people start coming at Suge just because and trying to prove a point because they hearing, oh man, old boy said Suge wasn't shit. He a bitch ass nigga. So motherfuckers start coming at him. And just like that. And Suge ain't the only person that been in a situation like that. I don't think I was ever ready to jump over a cliff, but you kind of get leery when certain people walk to you. You don't know what you done to motherfucker.
Oh yeah, no. If Michael Jai, someone who looked like Michael Jai White, started making a beeline right towards me, not knowing who this person is,
right?
I might go grab for my weapon. Right. Like I don't know. It's not like I'm saying Suge is soft or anything else like that. I get it, but it was just a very interesting story. Well, then I had Akon here recently. Did you hear his whole story about what happened?
Yeah.
You watched it?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
I had to.
You had to.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a story.
And it's crazy because Suge, he didn't see this type of shit. He thought everybody was going to be afraid of him. And people at this point is tired of you. But once again, you don't have those guys. And I used to just sit back. When I listened to Luke.
Okay, Luke.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. No, I've interviewed Luke about this situation.
Exactly.
Yes.
I had to inquire. So I'm asking, and y'all was out there with Luke and had to fight with everybody say no, they weren't there. So what entourage did Suge have with him there? And any man is touchable. Any man is touchable.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
John F. Kennedy got killed.
Exactly.
The president of the United States.
But everybody is like, no, I don't remember that. I asked Reggie, I don't remember that. How you not remember getting your ass whooped? For number one, you got to be ready to accept the ass whoop. It happened, you on their turf.
Right. From what I understand, Luke got a bunch of dudes with knives and started stabbing people up.
Oh, so
that's the story I heard.
I know none of them ever came back cut up or nothing. So I don't know who Suge had with him.
I don't know. Like I said, I've interviewed Luke about the situation.
Right.
We'll play a clip from that. They dropped Dre Day. You dropped your diss record. And then y'all ran into each other. And I remember you had said in a previous interview that there were a lot of knives and blood involved.
A lot of knives and blood involved. You got to read the book. Bad guy from Miami.
Why knives, though? I've always wondered, why knives?
Hey, you can't tell everything.
The Akon story I'd already heard.
Oh,
so if you saw the way I was breaking down that story, I had already knew from beginning to end, and Akon pretty much filled in the blanks and agreed with me pretty much through the whole thing. The only part
I didn't understand is, he said Suge sued him. What?
Suge didn't sue him. He pressed charges against Ja, who knocked him out.
But he just wanted the money. That was a tactic.
And at the point that Akon paid Suge the money, that's when Suge dropped the charges. So he didn't technically sue him, but he got the money that he wanted.
If I don't get the money, he gonna go to jail.
He gonna go to jail. Akon actually compared Suge to Tekashi.
Bullshit.
He's like, everyone's getting mad at the shit.
Bullshit.
What Tekashi's doing, he said, Suge pressed charges as well.
And at that moment, that's when Ja hooked off on Suge.
And knocked him out.
And Suge fell down in slow motion.
Yeah.
And that's when Big D grabbed me and the gun that was on the floor and took me to my room.
Right. And then according to Ja, security ran in and started tasing him.
And then this club security, when they came,
Yeah.
I was already out the back door.
Right. And then from what I heard, was that Suge actually pressed charges against Ja.
No. Suge did more than press charges.
He sued.
He did more than sue.
What did he do?
He did what everybody mad at 6ix9ine about.
He told.
I'm just saying. He did what everybody mad at 6ix9ine about.
Brother, I could be mad at Suge for everything on this planet, but he is nothing like that.
I'm not saying that, but he did press charges.
I can understand
against
that.
someone who assaulted him.
But see,
Even though he started that whole altercation.
Exactly.
Let's just be very clear about this.
Let me tell you something, Vlad. I done watched Suge get at motherfuckers and had nothing to do with the business or nothing and get a check or get cash. He thought he can bluff and bully the best of them. That incident backfired on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to take it to that next level to make sure he got some money. And the cool thing about it is, I don't want to say his name, but he was telling me that Suge didn't have the money like he had, and he was getting money and borrowing money from people. How the fuck is Suge borrowing money from people? So I didn't understand that.
He was pressing Akon over a producer that I guess him and Ray J had signed, Detail, over $25,000. So Suge's cut, what is $12,500, but then you got to pay the, I mean, what?
It ain't worth it.
I mean, like $10,000. How far is that going to go in Suge's life? 10,000, someone who rides around in
That's
nice
30
cars.
minutes. That's 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 fucking minutes.
But yeah, I mean, Suge pressed up on Akon and his crew, and Akon keeps some thorough guys around him, as he should.
Pressure busts a pipe.
And they were not having it that night. And Akon was even planning on paying him back. He said, look, okay, fine. When I get back to LA, send me an invoice. I'll pay you this damn 25. I'm tired of hearing about this 25,000.
And he the same goddamn way. You'll be waiting 6 months for get a goddamn check out.
Right. And Suge was like, oh, we don't wait for no damn invoice. You know, this is LA. I'll have your mother killed. I'll have your kid, you know. That was the end of that. Yeah, it was a crazy ass situation that Akon broke down. Like I said, I heard the story already from the guy who knocked.
I listened to
Suge
it
out.
twice. And
let me tell you, if there was a problem with that story, Akon would have corrected me.
Right.
And there was not. I knew that story inside and out.
Right.
I had John Sally on my show recently. He was presenting at the Vibe Awards when Dre got assaulted. Remember that situation?
Yeah.
And I remember once again hearing from someone that was involved in that award ceremony, Suge was not invited to the Vibe Awards. He showed up, 5-10 deep, and just pushed back, told the security to get the fuck out of his way. Then he came in, and one of the people that was with him ended up going up to Dre, asking for an autograph, and then punching Dre in the face. Then Young Buck stabbed him. the guy who punched Dre.
Hey, but you don't see the irony of this shit. Like, motherfuckers can't make money and get along. Motherfuckers can't make money and understand or just be happy for the next motherfucker that made that bag. They got the money.
Man, listen. Every problem that I have had pretty much was either about a woman or it was about money.
Yeah.
Most times, especially when it comes to me, because I don't be messing with other dudes' girls, or I've literally never done that in life. I always thought that was lame.
Right.
Right. Suge likes to do that. That's Suge's thing.
Bad.
I remember, for example, like a tangent, like Left Eye, when Andre Rison broke up with her,
mm-hmm.
she went to go live with Suge. She just moved in. I remember Andre's face when he found out, like, damn. But what I realized in my life is I get accused of this, I get accused of that, I'm this, I'm that. But when you really peel the layers away, it's really about money.
Right. Everything is.
It's really about money. It's really about Vlad's getting this and we deserve part of it, or
Why
we didn't get what we, you know, he needs to do this because he's making this amount of money. And let me tell you, I have yet to meet a person that said, look, I got rich by hating on this guy, and I kept hating on him over and over again, and I became rich by hating.
Ain't that blogging or some shit? Ain't that what they doing now? Motherfuckers getting paid?
Listen, but at the end of the day, you still have to create quality content. You're not just going to just hate your way into a fortune. Right. You have to create. Yes, you might get a boost here and there by some hating, but
there's a lot of rules to it, Vlad. I mean, you got to respect where you came from. You got to respect how you made your money. You got to respect everything that climbing up that ladder. You got to respect it all. I'm not going to disrespect him because he's just a cameraman. I got to respect that. Without him, this shit ain't going to be filmed right.
Right.
You know, these guys out here, which we don't even have to be fighting each other. We don't. Everybody is quick to call a motherfucker faggot, a snitch. He did this to my girl. He raped my this. Come on, man. I mean, it don't make sense.
I have said over and over and over again.
It don't make sense.
Anyone who has an issue with me, come talk to me. And if the issue is money, which most times it is, come fuck with me and we will both make more money together.
Right.
Fucking with each other as opposed to being at odds.
Right.
Because at the point that we're at odds,
we
can no longer communicate with each other.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You and I can't even have conversations because I don't even trust you anymore.
Right.
And at this point, we have to completely separate. But I'm not competing with you. Especially if we're on the internet, there's more than enough viewers to go around to everybody.
Well, when people take favors and take sides, you got 5 million people that fuck with Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin got 337,000 that fuck with him.
Yeah.
How the fuck Vlad getting that 5 million and I'm only like this? We on the same shit.
Yeah.
They ain't understanding it. And we have seen people react to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You have people out here done hit me in the comments. How the fuck did you get whoop whoop whoop? How long you been doing this? About a year or so. And you signed a what? How the fuck? Oh, they just giving shit to anybody. I mean, it's just stupid. You know, I ain't asked for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't get this bullshit.
Well, let's talk about your podcast, The Gangster Chronicles.
Right.
First of all, congratulations. You joined Charlamagne's Black Effect podcast platform, which is partnered with Eiht.
Right.
Me and Charlamagne recently squashed like a 4-year beef that we had.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for 4 years we didn't speak. He said something about me. He said he's not fucking with me publicly over some interviews that I did.
Right.
You know, and I felt the way he did it was very disrespectful considering our past relationship.
Right.
We've been 12 years deep. And, you know, at one point earlier this year, we just got on the phone. He apologized to me for what he said. I apologized to him for some of the things that I did. And I went on the Breakfast Club. He went on VladTV. It was dope.
Right.
You know, and in the conversation, you know, he had criticized me for an interview. Well, I mean, originally what the falling out was about was that he had criticized me doing an interview with this guy No Plug, who killed Bankroll Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, telling his side of the story, saying that it was self-defense and, you know, he got shot at first and he returned fire and that's how Bankroll Fresh got killed. A year later, Atlanta PD released the actual footage and it was exactly the way he said it in our interview. So what I did, I was not trying to hype up a bad situation. It was a person trying to clear his name.
Right.
You know, and that's why I did it. And he understood that.
Okay.
And it was some grown man shit. And me and Charlemagne, you know, we're back on good terms.
Well, that's
again.
cool. That's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all in the same business.
Right. And we've done well fucking with each other, as
Right.
opposed to, you know, the interview that I did on his platform got like 600,000 views and got like 1 million views on my platform when he came to me. And like I said, working with me, you're going to do better than working against me.
Right.
You know, because I know some shit.
Right. Well, you wouldn't be where you at right now if you
I've been doing this for 12, coming on 13 years. I know some shit.
And that's one of the reasons why I give Norm Steele a lot of credit, more credit than I give, because other people give, because man, the guy is he got it all like here.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll be like, from day one till here, we like been cool. And I'm not all in it like that. I don't know all the logistics of this shit, but he breaks it down to me. And then here we are signing a deal with Charlemagne. I done watched The Breakfast Club once or twice. Now I'm on the phone talking to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the people like yourself and Greg Caden and everybody that I met through this journey, it's like, man, I wouldn't have never met these people. I see a Vlad, and you ain't up on VladTV? Damn, now I done did an interview on VladTV.
Right.
I done been on The Breakfast Club. So it's like...
Oh, you were on The Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
So I'm like, what the... It's crazy, but, you know, I think, you know, me personally, the Gangster Chronicles is like for, you know, uplifting motherfuckers. You know, you don't have to live like a Mob James did. You don't have to waste 50 years of your fucking life to fucking get it that it's a better way of living out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's talk about the Gangster Chronicles for a second.
Mm-hmm.
When it first launched, it was Mob James, Reggie Wright Jr., and Alex Alonso.
No.
No?
No.
Who was the third member?
It was just Mob James and Reggie Wright.
Got it. Okay. Alex came later.
Yeah.
Okay. When I went and did the interview with you guys, Alex was there.
Yeah.
Okay. But then Reggie went to jail, prison.
Right.
So then it was just the two, you and Alex?
It was just me and Alex.
Okay. Then at one point, Alex was no longer part of the show.
Well, what happened was we was trying to find a third seat for somebody to take Reggie's place for that year, that Reggie was going to be absent. But what happened is that me and Alex clicked so tight, we could do this ourselves. So we decided to hold back because we was going to we was going to try Spider Load. So that didn't happen. And then, you know, the COVID came and Alex decided to say he wasn't doing the Zoom. I'll wait till we get back into the studio, and then that's when I'll call him. So he felt that I was doing a good job doing the Zoom. He didn't have to. But you're my partner. We do this together. How you gonna say what you gonna do or when you wanna do it? So he just pretty much disappeared. You know what I'm saying? And left me by myself, and I was stretching my head. What the fuck am I gonna do now? I don't have Reggie. I don't have Alex. I mean, that was the team right there. So I told Norm, man, you're gonna have to sit at this table with me. Now I done did an interview. I done talked to people by myself, but I want to do. Really got to get comfortable. So he came in and sat there, and we talked, and you know, it just kept working. It just kept working. It just kept going, and then here we are at odds on different platforms. Motherfuckers is talking about each other and saying this and that, and you know, I had to go on Bomb first to pretty much set the record straight. If Norm just fired Alex, I would have quit. because how can you fire him and we the ones at the table? And you can't fire him without telling me. So it didn't happen that way. He chose to walk away.
So Alex quit.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me just say this. I've seen Alex say some really foul things about me publicly,
Right.
and through the grapevine. But at the end of the day, I have absolutely no issues at all with Alex.
Right.
I think he's extremely knowledgeable
Right.
in what he does. I think he has a good platform.
Right.
I don't know why he's always upset with me and so forth. I honestly don't know, but I have, we had talked on the phone before. He was trying to set up an interview for me with another person.
Right.
It didn't happen. But I'm not going to speak bad about someone because they spoke bad about me.
Well,
that's just not my character. So
he said it on our show, so I could say it on your show, and I think he can quote me on. Alex felt that, he pays for interviews. Man, Walter Cronkite paid motherfuckers. What type of journalist is you? And then Reggie said, that's why where he at and this is where you at. Well, I'm a good journalist and I'm not paying anybody for an interview. So that's where he begs to differ with you. That's your personal opinion.
And that's fine.
But he shouldn't attack. And that's why I'm at with it. You don't have to attack because you feel a certain kind of way of how somebody else run their own business.
Right. He has his brand of journalism. I have mine.
Right.
He has the type of business that he runs, and I have mine. Whoever you say is more successful is whoever it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I understand that there are certain people that would basically not do an interview unless they got a check for it.
Right.
And there's other people that will do an interview for free because they have a reason to do it. Whether they're, just like when I interview on Breakfast Club, or if I do an interview, on, Big Boy or Adam 22, I don't ask for a penny.
Right.
I've never gotten paid for an interview.
Right.
Ever.
And that's where I was at.
Ever. Everyone wants to talk about this whole paying thing. I've never gotten paid for an interview. And certain people I do pay, and certain people I don't. And at the end of the day, it's all on a level of individuality. Like this particular situation,
right.
Is it going to take money to make this happen, or is it not?
Right.
And that's that. And if Alex has a problem with that, then that's fine. I understand that. I have absolutely nothing bad to say.
Well, I think
about
he
Alex.
moved on now, and I think show me a person that don't have something to say bad about somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have social media. We wouldn't have this shit.
Well, MC Eiht joined the Gangster Chronicles.
Yeah.
Who I've interviewed before, twice.
Right.
I think he's dope. I think he has a very interesting perspective.
And it was crazy. It was crazy.
I think he has a very interesting history as well.
Yeah.
Pop, legendary West Coast artist. Classic albums under his belt.
Right.
But you said that it got crazy when he joined?
When the deal was going through, and then they told me that Charlamagne them digging Eiht. Well, we just previously interviewed Eiht, and I thought he was cool. Me and Eiht never talked, from Compton, different sides. And the first thing I thought is, damn, that ain't gonna work. I don't think I want to do that. But
because of the gang thing?
Because of the history that he have and I have. I didn't want that to clash.
Right.
I don't know him.
He's a Crip. What's that?
Tragnu.
Yeah. Does Tragnu and Ma Piru historically have issues?
No, it's not. I mean, we both grown out of it, but
it was a Crip and Blood thing.
Yeah.
At one point.
And my whole thing is, man, what if this brother start banging at me? I have to bang back at him. And this was before me and him ever said anything. So what I've learned is talking to him and just breaking bread and just sitting back and man, he a good brother. And I don't see Eiht from Tragnu. I don't see Eiht sitting at the table, yeah, cuz, woo, 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 woo. And he won't see that from me. Nigga on Bloods, we got a woo, woo. And he ain't gonna see that from me. So what you have is just two men, you know what I'm saying, grown-ass men, ain't even looking at that color shit, ain't even on no gangbanging shit. He haven't said it to me, I haven't said it to him. And our conversation is so far away from that. I see he's about family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they had the privilege to watch Lionel, my grandson, run around the little photo shoot and shit. And that's what I'm into right there.
Yeah.
So I met a man. You know what I'm saying? Not a gang member.
Well, after he got on the show, Faizon Love had made the comments about Dave East and saying that he wasn't a real Crip because he started cripping in his 20s or something like that. Which, I mean, for me, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
Right. I know Faizon.
Right.
We talk. That's his opinion. I don't agree or disagree with it. I have no connection to that statement. But then he dragged MC Eiht into it. I guess he was saying, oh, and look at Eiht is doing songs with Dave East and whatever else, which turned into a whole thing for MC Eiht.
Right.
So now he feels like he has to respond to that. And then he got dragged into this whole thing of people started accusing him of snitching because of a movie that he did.
Right.
And he got paid $100,000 for a movie. And he was questioned about what he did and so forth. And he did an interview on the Gangster Chronicles explaining that. And he, from what I remember, he said he got hired to do a movie. The guy who had put it together was involved in some shit.
Right.
He got paid $100,000 for it. And when they came and questioned him about it, he said, yeah, I got paid $100,000. This is what I do. I'm an entertainer. I've been in movies like Menace to Society, but he didn't get on the stand or testify or do any level of
nothing
snitching
like
or whatever.
Nothing like that.
But now he's having to defend himself over something that he really got nothing to do with anyways.
For whatever reason, we attack each other or dislike each other for whatever reason it is. I don't think it should be. I'm trying. This is the first time I've just got caught with my words because JoJo, I fuck with him. I did interviews with him, JoJo Capone out of Chicago.
Right.
And to me, a good brother. Now, talking to JoJo and listening to his standards and where he stand on certain issues, like on hood shit, I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why this situation came up. If you have a situation like that, I think a phone call should be made to that person. Ain't nobody hard to get in contact with if you really want to talk to this motherfucker about anything. So I think the route was the wrong way. That things wasn't supposed to happen the way it did. I think it should have been a man thing on, check this out, dog, such and such is saying, woo, 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 let me get at you. Okay, I think they should have had that call, that sit down, that talk or whatever, but I don't know, man, Vlad, shit happens and people just don't think, man.
Yeah, I think the problem these days with social media and everyone having a platform is that it becomes very difficult to privately work out situations because phone calls get recorded, texts get screen captured.
Right.
Like I'll tell you one situation with Lupe Fiasco, right? The rapper. I've known Lupe. I don't know him, but I've interviewed him before. We ran into each other like 10 years ago at a club and we had a conversation and so forth. And Lupe had a issue with us reporting on him on the website, right? Because Lupe would say some outlandish things. And we would do an article about it because this is what we do. And he was like, yo, I thought I told you I don't want y'all reporting on me anymore. And I'm like, okay, we're still gonna report on you. It's like I mean, whether you tell us or not tell us, it really doesn't matter. If you say something outlandish that's making news, we're gonna go ahead and report on it. So he was like, but if you want to discuss it, we could discuss it. And so he DM'd me, like, I'm following you, you could DM me. So he DM'd me, was like, all right, let's get on the phone. And I'm like, we're not going to get on the phone.
Right.
I'm not getting on the phone with someone who, already has an issue with me of some sort. But I'm like, we're having a private DM here, so tell me what your issue is. Well, why can't we just talk? Or why can't we meet?
Why, you thought he was going to record it?
Let me get to that. But I'm like, what's your issue? Well, call me. I'm not going to call you. What's your issue? Why can't we call? Where are you? I'm in LA. Well, I'm in LA. Okay, I'm not going to go and grab my security to go meet up with you in person to have a conversation. Like, this is a waste of my time. Like, if you, blah, blah, blah. And at one point, the conversation, I'm like, all right, that's that. This conversation, I'm not going to get on the phone with you because I don't trust you.
Right.
Lupe goes and takes our whole DM conversation and posts it on his Twitter. This is Lupe Fiasco, who was like, I think a Grammy nominated artist. But people see
this shit though, right?
But it's just, it's just silly to me that it's like, yo, two grown men can't have a and he, in his DMs, like, yeah, I want to hear his voice, and so I could tell him and so I could post it or something like that. And I'm like, this is so silly, and this is the world that we live in right now. You can't have an actual real conversation with somebody when social media is involved. If they have a platform, because they're gonna use what you said or screen cap or record or do whatever and try to use that as content for themselves.
That's why you gotta be careful with what you say.
Yeah, which is why I'm at the point in my life where I feel like there's very few people I could actually have conversations with.
Right.
You're going to have to go through my assistant
moving
forward. And it's very sad because it stops a lot of things from getting worked out. And I think, like, as you can see with this MC Eiht situation and so forth, these guys could have gotten on the phone. They could have worked it out privately. It could have never.
I think they're in a better place now. I think it's cool.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure, but it's annoying for Eiht to have to deal with that. Because he didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Nothing wrong with doing a song with Dave East. Dave East's a hot artist right now. Okay, so he's cripping. Okay, so maybe he started cripping later on in life. Oh, well.
Well, that part, whatever he got going on in his business, whoever he chooses to fuck with, I don't know Faizon, but I mean, when you open the door for certain shit, you give people like that something to talk about. And you can't be mad at him. I mean, it's just, why do we got to do it to each other like that? Why we got to stick it to a motherfucker every time when you know it ain't? Come on, man, it's petty bullshit. I had a small little issue with Melly Melvin, Kev Mack, but instead of getting on this motherfucking Instagram and all this other shit, I reached out to somebody that knows somebody that know, and I called them. You know what I'm saying, man? What's happening, man? Let's say, and we fixed it. It was over and done. You know what I'm saying? So, what is you gonna get out of a recording? You're gonna get out of what I just said to you. So people gonna understand it even better because they heard the conversation. So it don't bother me.
Yeah, but what if the recording is edited? See what I'm saying?
See, I ain't with all that.
See, what if they take one part of the recording and put it into another part, and then put another part? You see what I'm saying?
And they do that.
And they do that. Yeah. And unless you're recording it as well, you can't counter that. You can't say, I didn't say that. Or if, let's just say, you had a conversation with someone and they go and make a video about the conversation, and what they say is totally different than what you told them over the phone. Now you see what I'm saying? It turns into a fucking mess, which is why these days I feel like I could talk to very few people. I can't talk to nobody.
Well, you got to follow your first mind, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
It ain't worth it.
Dre's going through a divorce right now.
Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre.
Oh man, that shit is crazy. Well, he lucky he ain't got to pay that $7 million a month or some shit like that.
Well, she wants $2 million a month.
Shit.
And apparently she's now dragging all his side chicks into court. There's like 3 side chicks that...
And they riding with her.
Oh, I don't know what they're doing. All I know is, I guess she's trying, because from what I understand, when they first got married, they signed a prenup.
Right.
But then at one point during the relationship, he ripped up the prenup in front of her.
So he ain't got the prenup.
Well, he probably ripped up a copy of the prenup. He still got the real one in the safe. The one that he got the combination to. And so now she's basically trying to annul the prenup, to somehow throw out the prenup so she could have whatever, $500 million or whatever else.
She should be happy with what he give her and go on about her business. Go on and move on. They got kids?
Yes, they do. I think one child.
Take care of that child.
Right, because when it comes, a prenup never involves child support.
Right.
Whatever you have with that prenup, that child support is going to be what it is.
Right.
Based on...
And he got to pay that.
He got to pay that.
So you don't think she can live off of that?
Let me see. But then the child might be kind of older now. Hold on.
But even though, just the time that you had with her, if it's 20 years, you don't think she deserved nothing?
They have a child, Truist, in 1997.
97.
That child.
13?
No, 23.
23 years old.
So they ain't no child support.
Grown. Damn.
Ain't
She
no
in
child
trouble.
support.
She ain't got nothing to stand on.
Ain't no child support.
But I heard she lost some part of that.
Yeah, certain parts were thrown out. It's a mess, man. It's a damn mess.
Do you think a woman is worth $500 million just because she want to walk away?
No, I think that the divorce laws, especially in California, are downright criminal.
Fucking ridiculous.
But when it comes to prenups, first of all, I feel that every man or woman who is worth more than their mate when they get married should have a prenup 100% of the time.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because this is what happens in the laws. Let's just say that you guys are married for 1 year.
Right.
During that year, you make $1 million.
Right.
Okay. Now your wife is by your side that whole time.
Right.
At the point that you guys get divorced, she is owed half the money that was made during the course of that marriage.
Right.
She's owed $500,000. But you don't have $500,000. You made $1 million and you spent $800,000 of that together with her.
And you got to pay.
And now you owe another $500,000, which you don't have anymore. That's why.
I look at it like, that's cool.
That's why you have a prenup.
Right.
You know, and a prenup should not mean that woman or that man gets nothing. You guys should work out a fair amount.
That's what I'm talking about.
A fair amount, because women through a prenup, I ain't get nothing. No, you should get a fair amount. So let's just say that you make $1 million that year. She's entitled to $200,000. There you go. Here's $200,000. Not $500,000, but here's $200,000 because look, let's not get it twisted. If you are married and you're successful, that woman is a big part of your success.
Right.
Her being by your side, that's your sounding board. When you got no one else to talk to, you're going to talk to your wife.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So she deserves a lot, but the way it's set up is not what she deserves. It's ridiculous. $2 million a month.
They asking for too much.
$2 million a month for Dre's ex-wife. Are you kidding me? $2 million a month. $1 million of that was like entertainment.
She ain't finna get the whole $2 million anyway.
Man, listen.
But that's ridiculous, and I don't see it. But I think relationships today is totally different. Marriages don't last long. Why the fuck get married? I'll never do it again.
Nah, that's it.
No,
never get on that altar again.
I would never ever put myself in this situation, especially to pay to get out of it. Normally, I can, I could walk away.
Did you see the whole Mike Tyson Boosie thing?
I ain't seen none of that.
None of that. Okay.
Wait, let's talk about it though.
Okay.
Tyson after me more.
Okay. So here's what happened. Boosie's a regular guest on my show.
Right.
Boosie has his views on gay people.
Right.
One of the things that he said on my show was that he has an issue with gay cartoons because he feels that small children should not be exposed to this type of thing at an early age.
I said something about it because I didn't like the cartoons I was seeing for kids. I got kids. I ain't like the. I feel like they was pushing it. They was pushing it, man.
He also had a problem with Dwyane Wade's child, who is transgender.
Okay.
You know, I think her name is Zaya now.
Right.
And, you know, at one point he did a video saying, you know, for Dwyane Wade not to let his son cut his dick off, and you know, that type of thing.
They don't have shit figured out yet. He might meet a woman, anything at 16, and fall in love with her, but his dick be gone. How you gon' like, bro? You going too far, dog. Don't cut his dick off, bro. Like, bro, for real. If he gonna be gay, let him be gay, but don't cut his dick off, bro.
But at that point, you're out of line. Because what my household consists of don't have nothing to do with you. It ain't gonna hurt you, none of that shit. You can voice your opinion because it's out there. But other than that, if my son, if my daughter chose to be gay, I'm supporting them 100. They mine. I love them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then nothing you can't change that.
Right. Well, so Boosie does an interview on Mike Tyson's podcast.
Right.
And the interview starts off with Mike Tyson really just kind of getting at Boosie about his comments,
right,
about gay people and transgenders. In an interview that came out afterwards on TMZ, the way Mike described it was his daughter, when she found out that Boosie was going to be on Mike's show, flew out to LA to confront Boosie. I'm assuming, based on the way Mike is saying it, is that his daughter is gay.
Mm-hmm.
And feels some type of way about, you know, or maybe she's just a heterosexual, but just feels very strongly about gay rights.
Right.
But it sounds like it almost implies that his daughter is gay. So I think that Mike took up for his daughter in terms of her beliefs,
which he should,
in an opportunity to talk to Boosie about. I think at one point he even asked if Boosie was gay himself and was trying to be in the closet, which honestly I do not think is true at all.
Right.
Of all the times I've spoken to Boosie, I do not get any sort of gay vibes at him at all.
That's his choice. That's on him, though.
Yeah, and
I can't judge it.
Yeah, but Mike, you know, confronted him with it, and it's Mike Tyson, so you got to listen. You know.
Well, it's like this, man. We don't. Everybody got a right to their own opinion. If you publicize your child out there with a dress on and getting a haircut, why put it out there like that? Why even? Fuck it, man. Just mind your own goddamn business. Boosie, mind your business. It don't matter. It ain't in your house, so it shouldn't matter. But sometimes we bitch and complain about shit we see because it's close to us. And we just don't like it. So motherfuckers had a tendency to talk about other people's shit. And it's close in your family too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. Dwyane Wade, Michael Jackson, Michael Johnson and Magic, all these motherfuckers, man, it's fucking whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Magic Johnson's son. And
he just with it, but can't be mad at him. He ain't no dirty ass gay dude. He ain't on no messy shit. This motherfucker's coming out the penitentiary every motherfucking day, swinging and dangling with another boy. And then they see other motherfuckers and then they quick to talk about another motherfucker, and you got all these down low ass niggas running the motherfucking street today.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second.
That bullshit.
You were locked up 30 years ago. How long did you do?
I did a couple years.
Now, if you're in a situation in prison, right? If you have life in prison and you basically are told at that point you will probably never see or touch another woman for the rest of your life.
Right.
I think more people in that situation would say, well, let me try out this gay thing. From common sense. You know what I mean? I've never been to prison. I've never been put in this situation myself.
There's in prison that don't believe that they're gay because they fucking other boys. They fucking other boys because that's the closest thing they're gonna get to pussy.
Right.
To feel something, fuck a Fifi bag, I'm gonna fuck this nigga in his ass. So
right. And certain people like believe that you're not gay unless you get fucked in the ass, right?
I don't know if that makes a difference.
That's what I heard. I heard like in certain cultures, certain gangs, whatever else, if you're not getting fucked, you're not gay. If you're doing the fucking, if you have a dude suck your dick, that's okay. Now I think that's gay from my point of view. And listen, if you're gay, you're gay.
However you cut it, it ain't right. I'm gonna say it ain't right. It ain't meant to be. But you got a lot of cats in prison that ain't coming home. So
right.
That ass is the next best thing to it. So they do take that route. There's some motherfuckers out there that's proud of being booty bandits. I mean, like, for real proud. Like, yeah, I fuck him and come home with the same bullshit and fuck a motherfucker while they on the streets. There's a whole lot of them out there. You know, but they be the first ones to talk about somebody that's open and honest about their sexuality, opposed to hiding it. And, you know, niggas ain't coming home sagging and just like, hell yeah, I bust a nigga in his ass, I fuck. Ain't nobody coming home like that, man.
Nobody?
No.
Okay, with all the Mob Piru members, were there any openly gay members?
Man, I'm not gonna talk about the mob like that. I mean, that's crazy to ask me. Was there any? It was gay members.
So that's considered. That's a non-conversation.
Let me say this:
you cannot be gay and call yourself Mob Piru.
No, I ain't say that. You got. Let me put it like this: you have men from every side that interacts with other men in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But some you have that got turned out in prison, come home and stay that way, turned out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just different levels to the shit. But you got a lot of cats that wear their pants sagging and that's their mentality. They fuck boys.
Well, I had heard that even the sagging itself, like that whole thing of sagging your pants, comes from prison, and it comes from like a sign that you show other men that, hey, this ass is available.
No, that's bullshit.
Not true. That's bullshit.
I sagged when back in my days, and I damn sure ain't telling the motherfucker this ass is open. And if he thought that motherfucking way, we'd have a problem. That's
okay. All right. So that's just a fake rumor.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So basically, you're saying that there's no just openly gay gangsters that you ever really come across.
I haven't ran into one,
and that's because of the social environment of that thing.
You know what that'll do to it? I mean, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you really like that. You could be the hardest motherfucking thug on the planet. Now, there's certain individuals in prison, if they ever got out, everybody that in that circle know what he is and how he get down. He's already accepted because he that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't finna just get out and just, hey man, come here, man. Come here, man. Come spend the night with me. No, you ain't finna do that.
No one got a boyfriend like
ain't nobody getting down like that. And that's why they got him on the DL, and you have a whole bunch of them that's just on the DL. But the bottom line is, whatever your preference is, if that's how you get down, that's how you get down. Just don't bring it to me or try to entertain me with it. Just like Dwyane Wade's son, Magic Johnson's son, if this is what they choose, their parents still love them.
Oh, yeah.
So fuck what anybody else got to say about it. You don't have to like it. If you don't like it, stay the fuck away from it. And that's how we get along. That's how we make the world a better place to live. Mind your own motherfucking business.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of too bad because I think that if you really are gay, but you're being forced to pretend like you're straight, I think that's going to cause all types of other problems along the way. In terms of your own self-denial, in terms of your fear of being caught, being exposed, you know.
You know, the only issue I have with it is, how can you be 4 years old and think you're gay? How can you be 10 years old and say, and you like other men or other women? You don't know this. You weren't born with this. You weren't born to be gay.
Well, and that's the argument. Are people born gay, or is it learned behavior? Is it exposure? Is it what? I don't know. I haven't been around that many kids, you know, in my life. I was an only child.
But like Boosie say, don't you think these cartoons, don't you think they publicizing being gay all over TV? I turned off Power, watching Power, and I see these two. One's I think a basketball player, and the other one
Power Book too. Yeah.
And them boys, they touching each other bellies and shit. I turned that shit off. I don't even watch Power no more, because why do you have to put that type of shit into something that you know, it's not creative at all to me. And our kids is seeing it when they turn on TV, Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. This bullshit, come on, man. So our kids are being
but Adult
taught.
Swim is not made for kids, hence the name.
I know,
Adult Swim.
The kids today, especially with the COVID shit, they up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Bosco was on my show recently.
Right.
And he said something interesting. He said that there's really a lot of money in the hood right now from these alleged stimulus scams.
Like right now, this whole EDD craze that's going on, like I'm seeing a lot of money in the hood right now.
Well, I was, you talked about, I was telling about the jewelry thing. I got a little sidetracked with you, but what I was saying is I talked to my jeweler. People are now spending more money on jewelry than they ever have before.
It is.
And we had done a story. You report on stupid stories and then you report on the really stupid stories.
Right.
There is a couple, right? And the Instagram page is still up. It's a guy. He's got a video of giving his lady a brand new G-Wagon, with a bow on it. It's like, baby, you've always wanted this. You getting everything. You got the big house. Wait till I get what I get you next week. There's pictures of him. He's wearing Fendi shirts with big chains on it. They're being charged in a $2.5 million stimulus scam.
Wow.
Both facing 20 years. He's apparently on the run.
Both facing 20 years, though.
Yes.
They ain't the only ones out there doing it.
Let me tell you, man, like, I'm hearing these stories. Like, I talked to a jeweler I know, and he's telling me, like, I'm assuming that times are bad right now. People aren't buying jewelry. He said, you would think that, but the exact opposite is happening right now.
Right.
Dudes that, clients I've had that would spend $1,000, $1,500 are coming to me $15,000, $30,000 right now, and they need it right now. Like, these designer, websites are sold out of everything. Like,
right.
You're seeing the same thing?
Yeah. It's all around you, especially in the hood. Everybody is getting. One person has a business, but don't have the business.
Right.
And getting all this goddamn money.
SBA loans, yeah, fake loans.
Can you be mad at them? Everybody is trying to get their money a certain kind of way. They getting paid. Motherfuckers is out here ain't had a job a day in their life that I know of, but is getting $30,000, $25,000. And as long as they keep doing these checks and giving these checks, they're going to keep making that money.
Oh, yeah. There's actually these two rappers who, made a video about EDD scams. And he said, there was like a line there that said, oh, you got to sell a bunch of cocaine. I just made a claim. And I'm making more than you.
And that's all you got to do.
And they had a video and they're showing the EDD checks in the video. And they're both arrested right now and facing a bunch of years.
And they should be in jail.
Yeah, like a couple 100,000 or
but
everybody
doing that shit, Vlad.
Everybody doing it.
Paid.
But let me please tell you. Let me please put this out there. The government made these programs because they did not want to see the economy collapse.
Right.
Okay? They knew that if they did not quickly get this money out to the people that really need it,
right,
the U.S. was going to collapse.
But see, they really don't know who need it.
Right. So what they did, I remember I watched interviews with the guys that were in charge of these programs. They
Right.
said, look, back in the 2007 housing crash, we tried to be extra careful to make sure that the people who really needed the money and deserved it got it. This time around, we're just going to be more heavy-handed and just give it out just to make sure that we're going to be okay, because the government can print money, literally. They can print more money when they need it.
Right.
But let me tell you, right after, I think in 2008, I got audited by the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Never been audited before. And I talked to my accountant, and he said, I am seeing 10 times the amount of audits that I'm seeing from previous years. Because all that money they dished out, they're going to go get it back.
Right.
So all these people who are scamming, who are taking these fake loans, these fake EDD checks, creating these fake businesses and all that, I'm going to guarantee you that the government, once things start to get back on track, they're going to go connect the dots and they're going to find all the people. And if you could not, this is why VladTV never took any of these loans. We're like, fuck all that. We're not going to come back. Oh, y'all didn't really need it. And y'all just, and all these. Because not only are they going to take it all back, they're going to charge massive penalties, and there's going to be prison time with it as well.
And it should be.
So all the money that y'all are scamming, y'all better take that money and move to another fucking country with it.
They ain't finna do that.
Okay?
They ain't finna do that.
If you're taking that money and you bought a car with it, or you bought some jewelry, or you got some lipo, or you bought a house.
They should have did that shit a different kind of way, Vlad. Instead of paying the people that's renting the house, pay the landlords. Mm-hmm. And then the people still in there. Yeah. But I wouldn't accept that money. And then at the end of the day, you taking the money and you going to fuck it off because you ain't got to pay rent.
Right.
Damn dummy, don't you think they going to want their money sooner or later?
Right. Yeah, because right now all the evictions are halted.
Right.
Right. But you know what you're also doing is you're fucking up your rental history.
Exactly.
So after evictions start going back in effect and you get evicted and you're going to go try to get another apartment, no one's going to rent to you.
That's when it's time to buy a house. Motherfuckers got to need a house now because motherfuckers.
Well, but you're also going to wreck your credit in the process because you owe all this back rent.
Exactly.
And you're not going to pay it. So now your credit score is like 400 and no one's going to rent to you or give you a fucking loan for a house.
Right.
How's that?
Right.
It's all going to fucking catch up. So please, if this is what you're doing, just cut your losses right now.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be a lot worse than what you think it is.
And some people don't mind taking that penitentiary check. They don't mind going to jail for it. But if you ain't doing nothing right with the money, then it's a waste of time. Ain't nobody benefiting. Ain't nobody opening up a business or none of that shit. They fucking the money off. They fucking it off. Why I can't get a goddamn stimulus check? Give me my Social Security. I can't get it. You know what I'm saying? So the people that really need it ain't getting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That part as well.
They sending checks to vacant houses. A fucking vacant house. A motherfucker got the name on the house and he getting a check, coming and pick up 3, 4, 5 checks. What kind of shit is this? But in different people's name. It should be some kind of red light, some kind of flash to come. How many motherfuckers checks is going in this one house? This specific address?
Well, this is what I'm saying. They would rather get the money out to everyone and then figure it out later. Because they want to keep things going.
Well, I can't wait till they send me a check. I need the motherfucker. I really need the motherfucker.
Recently in Philadelphia, police killed a mentally ill black man.
Right.
You saw that video?
Yeah.
It seems like as soon as we sort of get over the outrage of one police shooting, another one pops up like damn near on cue?
You can't get over it. You can't forget it. Me personally, I look at it like they're not gonna stop because we haven't stopped. We ain't stopped killing each other. Why should they stop? They not gonna stop because they gotta prove a point to us that they run this motherfucker. That it's all about us, not us. It's about them. So they proving a point to us right now today that we ain't gonna stop killing you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers are still killing each other, and we ain't gonna let y'all turn this around and start shooting at us, killing us. So we are a threat to you motherfuckers. And that's all they telling us. That's all the fuck they telling us.
But how often do police get killed? But by just regular.
If it was one a year, they ain't finna publicize it. They ain't finna tell you. It ain't finna go off.
Well, no, I mean you heard about this. Didn't some LA cops like sheriffs get ambushed?
What, just recently? Yeah. Couple of months? Yeah, but that's nothing compared to the lives they took already. And half of their murders are justified. Half of their shootings are justified. There's no way you can justify a man being shot in the back 9 times, 8 times, 13 times. You can't justify that. You can't justify killing a woman in bed and say there's nothing should be done.
Yeah, Breonna Taylor. In fact, the cop is actually, one of the cops is suing the boyfriend.
For what?
I guess like mental distress or something like that. Like,
but then they give that to you. They let them do that to us. But they go home scot-free. It don't make no sense. And all of these people are getting shot. All of these black men getting shot and black women getting shot. Ain't nobody paying the fucking attention. They not finna quit. Trump tell them, do what the fuck you do by any means necessary.
Yeah, so basically Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, I guess, shot back and I guess wounded the cop in the leg. So now the cop is suing the boyfriend for assault and distress.
And that's only...
I've never even heard of that. A cop suing someone who they arrested?
It's fucking ridiculous.
I didn't even think that was even legal. I assumed that when you take on this job, you forfeit the right to sue.
Is that a deploy to take the heat off of them and say that they are really guilty of something? Come on, man. This young lady is dead. This man felt threatened. Now you telling me if a motherfucker, I hear my door kicked in and you don't say this to police, now I know the routine.
Right. They were in the wrong house. That's the whole thing with the Breonna Taylor case, is that they were trying to arrest somebody who she had dealt with like 2 years ago or something.
Exactly.
Who didn't even live there. She gets shot in the head.
They ain't doing their homework.
Yeah, I personally think that no-knock warrants should be outlawed. I interviewed, Turk from Hot Boys.
Right.
And he had a no-knock warrant situation. And he ended up shooting one of the cops. He thought it was a home invasion.
3 days later, that's when the SWAT team kicked in the door. 2 police officers got shot. They shot literally 52 times, man, and I didn't get hit or grazed. My wife ain't get hit, man, and the police, man, I found out they were the police. I never intended to shoot no police. You feel me? I thought we was being robbed. So, you gonna go in the closet if you want to kill a police? Nah, you about to shoot through that motherfucking door. You feel me? You don't know who they is. And you see black ski masks and shit, I'm from the hood. Oh, you a robber. I'm about to blast your ass. You know what I'm saying? But anybody that want to shoot a police, they crazy in a motherfucker. Like you got to respect authority, and that's something that I do.
He thought someone was trying to, basically kidnap him or steal
Trust me, I know how it is when they hit that door.
Oh, you've had that. You had no-knock warrants?
Man, we've been raided 30,000 times.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. I had they threw the little bomb things in the window. They done broke the windows.
Wait, the gas canisters?
Yeah.
How many no-knock warrants have you had? Seriously.
I think altogether, like no knock, just kick in.
Yeah.
4.
4.
Just busting the windows out to distract us and just come straight in.
How many cops?
They did that 4 times.
How many cops that were part of the team?
Oh, Lord have mercy. The first time they did it, my little brother was in the patio and he was putting, as they start booming and banging, he was putting guns up under the fucking house from out the patio. We got warned one time that they were coming. One time they no knock when the Bells bombing came looking for me on an attempt, and they just bomb rushed the motherfucker. My moms was so tired of it. I don't even know how we got our door put back up. They done knocked that motherfucker down so much. It didn't matter. Front door, back door. And we were just used to this shit.
Okay. Did you ever shoot back, or anyone in the house
No.
ever shoot back?
No.
Because you guys already knew what it was.
Yeah.
You knew it was the cops.
They always came 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, shit like that. And the way they do it, because they was knocking the windows out, you didn't know what the fuck was going on. And by that time, they was already in that motherfucker. And you see the flashlights and all that. It was just, don't hurt our moms. You know what I'm saying? Our moms in there. But yeah, we've been through that a whole bunch of times, man, and it's not good. But it's a lot of things that the police shouldn't do that they do.
I mean, is there ever a situation, if you look at the police point of view, right? You take a step back and say, okay, now this is Mob James, the cop, trying to do his job. Is there ever a situation when you actually need a no-knock warrant, no other option is available? You know, or do you say, you know something, this whole concept really needs to just go away, because if there's ever a situation where we're at the wrong door and you have a Breonna Taylor murder that ends up occurring, you know, almost like the argument for not having a death penalty.
Well,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if one innocent person gets executed, you should just not have the whole thing.
I understand, but a no-knock warrant is coming in there. Basically, if they see something out of line, they can start shooting your ass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just like a license to kill. Now, man, thank God shit didn't happen that way. But just think, I used to sleep with a gun up under the motherfucking pillow the whole 9. They could have took that, and if they would have saw a gun, they could have popped me right there.
Gun, pow.
They can kill you and say he had a gun.
Look, it's right there. It's right there on the pillow. Yeah. Exactly.
So, no, that shit ain't no good.
Right.
Man.
Well, because the other option is you knock on the door and say, this is the police, we're coming to arrest you.
Right.
And then you might have a standoff.
But they got to understand the situation and the people that they fucking with. Everybody is not on that level of arrest. Everybody is not like on a high alert. You know what I'm saying? You can go arrest Michael Jackson. You know he ain't standing there with no motherfucking AK.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In the back of the door at the same time flushing his motherfucking dope. You know what I'm saying? But
oh yeah, there's that. You give the person the opportunity to get rid of the evidence.
The only way they should get the warrant is by knowing who they fucking with. You know what I'm saying? And they already know that. But to go get a no-knock warrant, that's to knock your ass down.
Right, because how about this? Let's just say in the Breonna Taylor situation, the judge goes to prison for signing off on a no-knock warrant, which ended up being the wrong house. Think about how much more careful every other judge in the country would be before signing this off.
But shouldn't he be guilty of that? Shouldn't he even take the responsibility and say, I fucking signed her death certificate?
Yeah.
Okay, but he not doing that.
Of course not.
Because they don't give a fuck.
Nope.
So
it was an accident. Sorry.
The law is written to fit the situation that's best for them. You know what I'm saying? It ain't fit for us. It ain't made so I can feel justified, or I feel like if you win a trial or they say case closed, you don't know how that shit feel when they tell you, oh, your case over, it's done. They chose not to prosecute. What? You know, motherfuckers be happy in the motherfucker. Go to trial and beat a case. You don't know the celebration.
You beaten cases?
I beat a woof, 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 woof. Yeah. No charges. Attempted murder, me and my little brother. I don't know how many assaults that I beat. People didn't come to court. They said we're not prosecuting. Just a whole bunch of different things. And then just sitting in the county jail, especially in that blood module where cats come and just beat a murder case. I'm acquitted. I quit. Man, you what? You know what I'm saying? How just happy a motherfucker is to feel like the system worked for them. You know what I'm saying? It don't work for you all the time. You don't get it.
Well, Tekashi.
Right.
Came home, had a bit of a career, had a song with Nicki Minaj and so forth. Tried to scam his way onto the charts by buying ads and trying to sell merch and bundles and stuff like that. And at the time of this taping, you know, on October 31st, 2020, you have not even heard of this guy. He hasn't even posted on Instagram in like a month.
Because the money gone. You're paying for them security, and that's some high risk shit right there.
Yeah.
And the shit that he doing, somebody is gonna try something with that little boy. He needs to sit his ass down somewhere. You know,
but you really can't because you got a bunch of face tattoos and you're recognizable everywhere you go. I remember when I interviewed Big U.
He can move to Alaska.
He'll still be recognized in Alaska.
Yeah, he'd be recognized, but what black motherfucker finna go to Alaska just to get him?
You know, a lot of black people I know have actually even lived in Alaska. Like,
I wouldn't go get him.
Drew Down, I think, used to live in Alaska, like the rapper. I'm telling you, sometimes you just get these crazy stories. But anyways, I remember Big U, when I interviewed him, the one time, we talked about Tekashi. He said, at some point, he's no longer going to be hot and the money's going to run out. And all the disrespectful shit that he did along the way, people are still going to remember it. And yeah, I mean, he can't move around without heavy security.
Exactly.
He can't just have, I'll have one security with me.
That ain't gonna work.
That works for me. People leave me alone.
Right.
The guy's armed. He's big. He looks like a cop. People leave me alone. Tekashi can't get by with that. He needs like four or five people surrounding him.
He damn sure can't go back on Crenshaw just by himself and then go by Nipsey picture and say, "I'm here. I'm out here." He can't pose like that no more. He can't.
He did it though.
But he did it with all of that security.
Yeah.
He can't do that by himself. He can't go to New York and walk up the motherfucking block and do his thing by himself. The dude, I don't know. I just couldn't live like that. He got shit fucked up. All that flossing, all that the shit you said about people, all that shit is finna come back to haunt him. That's why he shut the fuck up and you don't hear from him no more. Because I heard that $200,000 a month that he paying the security, they not finna stay there when the money gone.
No, because they're risking their lives because of this guy.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a regular, $500 a day security guy to do that. Nah, they're on high alert because, something, Sada Baby from Detroit, I interviewed him. And he said flat out, he said, there's someone out there right now who's willing to go to jail by shooting Tekashi.
Yeah.
They're okay with that. They're okay with shooting him and then going to prison and then doing their time.
Saturday, I mean, you wouldn't want to think somebody out there like that, but it is.
There absolutely is.
Right.
Something that doesn't have a lot going for him.
Just don't give a fuck.
Just don't give a fuck. So
that's his name. That's a name for him.
I'm the guy who shot Tekashi.
Right.
I'm going to be a hero in this prison cell.
For a long time.
For a long time. Because, for example, a lot of people were upset over Akon doing Locked Up 2 with Tekashi because, I remember I had China Mac on my show and he was explaining to me that he was locked up when the song Locked Up came out. And he said that was like an anthem in the prison.
Right.
Like people really escaped by listening to that song and to turn around and do a song with a snitch and make a mockery of the song.
Not only a snitch, but a motherfucker that like put it out there and then try to blame other people for his mishaps and blaming it on the you niggas fucking my baby mama and all that other bullshit. Was it the money that Akon was looking at that he might make off of it? Because he wouldn't look at it like, man,
Akon is wealthy. And me and Akon argued about this on camera. I said, I don't like that you did that. He goes, why not? I'm like, and I explained why. And he goes, well, you know, it's not really like that. And, you know, he was more of a victim and everything else like that. And I'm like, nah, he was the ringleader
in this goddamn war.
He is the fucking ringleader.
Right.
This is the ringleader. Listen, when you have a certain amount of money, power, popularity, you have no shortage of guys that are willing to go beat people up for you.
So Akon feels sorry for him?
Yes. Yeah. Like we all have people that we could just say, hey, go beat this guy up for me.
How can he feel sorry for him, but he got gangsters? He got real cats with him.
And that's what I said. This was our conversation. I said that. His manager, this guy named Screw, got killed trying to stop Capone from, you know, Capone and Noriega getting robbed.
Right.
Like some dude ran up on him and tried to take his chain, and he tried to get in the middle of it, and he got shot. Like Akon has been in the middle of these street issues.
I know he's
losses.
been in the mix of a lot of shit. I done heard.
Yeah.
But
the Suge situation.
Yeah, I don't even see how he really can compare the two. You him himself, you hang with gangsters, you on some gangster shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But then you feel sorry for this young cat because you say he was took advantage of?
I didn't agree with him. And I really respect Akon. In fact, I've said that Akon, I think, in the history of me doing interviews, is the most important person I've ever interviewed.
Right.
Because of what he's done in Africa.
Right.
The Lighting Africa
I've
project.
heard about all that too.
Millions of homes now have electricity because of him. He's building his own city.
Right.
In Senegal. Like, I don't know anyone else that I've interviewed that's done that.
Right.
I've interviewed rich people. I've interviewed
how many motherfuckers on that level?
Yeah. How many people are like
hey, Akon, I need a job.
You know? But that right there, I just didn't get it. And that song didn't go nowhere. All that song was a bunch of bad publicity for Akon.
Right.
That's it. That's what he accomplished.
So now he know that, man, I didn't get shit out of that. People didn't like that shit. And he should have known that from the fucking beginning, though.
R. Kelly's still in prison. Was still in jail.
Man. They doing my boy wrong.
Yeah, there was a Latin king who ended up stabbing him with a pen.
And that's fucked up.
Did you see that guy's picture? Yeah. A bunch of face tattoos.
Why they do him like that, man?
And that guy recently got life for racketeering and 2 murders. And you really gotta just really look at this whole situation from a top down and say, look, a year and a half ago, R. Kelly was a superstar, still
doing
a superstar R&B. He had women around him. He had
found a way to
homes.
take him down. They found a way to
He was still touring. He was still making money from all the hits he made.
Exactly.
He beat a fucking pedophile charge by paying off the girl, allegedly. You know what I'm saying?
That's so they say.
Yeah.
But,
you know, because we've all seen the tape.
How many motherfuckers that you know, Vlad, they're say in their 40s and fucking with a 27-year-old girl?
Yeah.
It's some normal shit. How many females you seen running around this motherfucker and or present themselves to you as if they was 30 but only 17?
That part I don't know.
I'm just saying. I'm hypothetically speaking. I ain't saying they coming to you.
Yeah, no.
But the women of the day is coming out and they already fast. They already ready.
Well, there's really no problem with a 40-year-old dating a 27-year-old. There's a problem with a 40-year-old dating a 16-year-old. You see what I'm saying?
If you don't know she's 16, because they looking like they're 25, 30 years old. And
well,
then at the end of the day,
that as a grown man, you need to take the extra precaution. I mean, R. Kelly's his first hit song.
Oh, y'all killing it with that.
He said, "Show me some ID before I get freaky." He said it himself.
Got to.
And Bump and Grind.
Got to.
It's not like this man's oblivious of this. And
but
he was only 20 something
all
at
this
the
shit
time.
that's going on with him now is damn near old shit. They bringing this shit back up.
Well, yeah. I mean, the documentary buried him.
And then it's the killer part. How many motherfuckers doing the same thing he doing in the industry that's fucking any and every motherfucking thing and don't give a fuck how old they is, but they talking about R. Kelly. There's a whole bunch of these dudes out here fucking that young tender for the night. How many of them done got them pregnant, the whole nine? And they ridiculing him, but damn near everybody that's in the music industry is doing this shit.
I don't know about everyone. That's
damn near, I said damn near everybody. They all fucking these little young motherfuckers. That
so in Death Row, well,
a whole bunch of it.
We're not going to say a name, but I actually heard a very specific story about a Death Row artist when it comes to this. But we're not going to put that out there.
There's a lot of people doing the same shit.
People can connect the dots, but you know, and this is the part I don't understand. Like, okay, look, if you're a grown man and you're into young-looking girls, there's plenty of 25-year-olds that are petite and look like they're
that's your way of thinking.
You know,
that's your way of thinking.
That you know, if that's whatever fantasy you want to work out in your mind, there's plenty of legal women. Like, for example, I remember I did an interview with Baby Bash, right? Who was part of a camp with this rapper named South Park Mexican.
Right.
You know about this guy, SPM?
Yeah.
Huge rapper from Texas. He ended up going to a strip club, taking a girl home, getting her pregnant. She ended up being 13.
What the fuck she doing at the strip club, though?
And this is where the complexity of the situation arises.
Right.
Right? Because it's like, well, I'm at a strip club. And I'm assuming that everyone here is 18 because I'm at a strip club. I didn't pick her up at the fucking elementary school.
Right.
I'm at a strip club.
But what's she doing in there?
What is she doing in there?
Apparently she didn't look 13. And that's the same thing with R. Kelly. How is these young motherfucking little girls getting on a motherfucking airplane going to point B to point A to point B with him? How is these fucking kids? Where the parents at? And if you can't blame the parents, because you should know, if your daughter's 15 years old, she should be in the motherfucking bed at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Not walking in the house at 4 in the morning.
Right.
And then knowing that
a lot of these, but you know how it goes. A lot of these girls, they come from broken homes. Father's not around. Mother got a bunch of boyfriends.
But am I guilty of that? I don't know. If you loose like that and shit, you out there like that, it shouldn't be a motherfucking against the law.
What should not be against the law?
Fucking different women. You don't know. But if you find out this girl 15 years old and you 35 and you keep her in your house with you taking her and buying her, yeah, you guilty. You know you wrong.
I think that if you're dealing with a woman who's obviously younger than you significantly,
right,
you should, before you touch her at all, you should go through all the means at your disposal to figure out that this person is at least 18 years old.
Right.
That means if she has a driver's license, you see that, you get a birth certificate, you connect the dots, you do whatever is possible. Because it doesn't matter if you can't come back and say, well, she lied to me. Well, that's why South Park Mexican is in prison for like 25 years or something like that.
That's a damn shame.
It's 25 years. And, and his son is like, I remember he was talking about the interview, like who's now looks like he's like in his early 20s or whatever else. He's like, yeah, my mom was 13 and, free my dad, but, he did what he did. I don't know, man. Like I'm saying, if you're 40 and the woman's 40, no one gives a shit about what, clearly this woman's got wrinkles and whatever else. Clearly she's not 18. But if this is a girl that could potentially be underage, you should go above and beyond. She told me this. No, it doesn't matter what she told you. You need to see an actual ID. You need to see actual government something. Show me a yearbook.
Right.
Show me your high school yearbook.
Okay, so what about this 45-year-old lady with this 17-year-old boy? They don't give a fuck. Women think, ooh, she a cougar. They think it's cool.
I mean, but it's
What's
not cool.
What's the difference? Ain't that rape?
It is. It's statutory rape.
She should go to fucking jail.
But you see this all the time. These teachers who have sex with their high school students, they go to jail.
That's the teachers. They only putting the teachers out there because they publicizing that because it's in the school. They doing it in the schools. But it's all over the fucking place. Man, look at fucking Bill Cosby.
Who's still locked up.
Yeah. Ain't that some, I mean, anything to take you out of your fucking zone. Anything. And I think half of motherfuckers done got set up with it, man, to be honest with you.
So you think Bill Cosby's innocent?
I think Bill Cosby, if he touched a motherfucker, his handprint ain't still on that bitch titties after 30 years, after 40 years, how can she prove that? That shit is so fucking far-fetched and old.
But he was accused of drugging women and having sex with them as they were drugged.
If you ain't got a motherfucking test to say
he admitted to it in a deposition.
Well, see, he's the stupidest motherfucker on the goddamn planet.
It was supposed to be sealed, though, and then when it got unsealed, that's when things... there was some legal maneuvering that happened that got it unsealed and so forth.
But it had to have been the ones that was actually drugged. Was it the women that was actually drugged?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, he walked into a court of law with his high-priced lawyers, with all the money in the world to protect himself, and he got convicted by a jury.
Exactly.
So can we say the whole thing was a setup and he was trying to buy NBC and they were trying to take him down? You could say that, but there was a bunch of evidence that was presented to the jury. You know, there was a judge presiding, there was a bunch of witnesses, and ultimately, in order for someone to be found guilty in a criminal case, it's not like a civil case where it's, we think he did it, but we're not sure. Beyond a reasonable doubt, that jury said, we feel that he raped all these women.
Okay, and that's some fucked up shit right there. But how in the fuck do 5 women just pop up out the motherfucking blue after 30 years and say they pressing charges on Bill Cosby because he groped us and he doped us? Just all of a sudden. Where is the credibility that at?
No, I feel you. There is a lack of credibility. I have not gone through the transcripts of that trial to get all the details.
It's sad.
Listen, they made a documentary about Russell Simmons, and it was all hearsay. It was all hearsay. There was no criminal charges at all against Russell. But yet HBO Max looked like they spent a couple $1 million to put a documentary together and licensed all this music with one woman and then a couple other people, a couple other women sort of in the fringes who said that, yeah, and we went back and he raped me 30 years ago. And now Russell Simmons is living in Fiji.
Okay, but don't you think that person that did that should be a crime? You call it Karen, call it whatever you want to call it, but to put my life in a situation, I think that's a crime. When I'm living good and all this, and then out of the blue, here you come saying I raped you in 30 years. You just took Bill Cosby at an old age, maybe the best years of his life. You just took that shit from him.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that picture. Bill's looking bad in prison.
Yeah, he's old.
He's old.
You know what I'm saying?
80-something?
86?
Yeah.
Almost 87 years old. That's an old man.
That's an old man.
But then the what's the white boy?
Harvey Weinstein?
Tycoon, yeah. They don't want to. Come on, man.
Well, he got like 27 years.
Okay, but
Ron Jeremy, the male porn star, he's facing like 100 years.
But they shit is totally different. They actually like some nasty motherfuckers fucking with these young ass women. Just like, I don't know, man. That's a long story. I don't want to talk about them people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy in today's cancel culture and everything else like that. Like the type of shit, I got to feel what it was like to be a celebrity this year. Because motherfuckers came out of the woodwork on me. I heard one thing where some DJ from 20 years ago did an interview about me and said, yeah, and Vlad used to walk up to me and ask me what reggae songs I played. Then he turned around and played those songs in his set. Oh, how could he do that? Oh, that's against DJ. I'm like, you're complaining about a 20-year-old question that I asked you.
Wow.
Like, yo, people are actually interviewing you about this. I didn't think I was that important.
Nothing. What the fuck that means?
It's the stupidest shit ever. Ever. Man. But this has to cross my timeline every so often. This is why I'm not even on social media anymore. I just don't even want to watch this shit. But it's like, yo, it gets to the point where anyone who's ever had any encounter with you wants to use that to somehow lift themselves up by painting you in a bad light.
Right.
Which is why I remember I read somewhere, I forgot who said this, but they said, if you look at a group of people, a group of celebrities, and you look at the biggest celebrity out of that group, they're probably the loneliest person in that group of people.
I can believe that.
Because no one they talk to, they feel safe around.
Right.
Everyone knows that they can somehow monetize that relationship if things don't work out. If they no longer benefit from you, they will turn around and use that to somehow.
That's every day.
Yeah.
That's every day. And we don't look out for it. Even if we see it, we don't try to stop it. We allow it to happen.
Yeah.
We allow the shit to happen, man. And you see it every day with all these good cats, black and white men, just everybody. Motherfucker, I can't destroy nobody like that. I can't do it. Those days is over.
I can't do it either. And all the people that have spoken negatively about me,
right?
You'll notice that I have not said anything bad about them.
Have you ever just thought, Vlad, that with your platform, with how you talk to people, how you interview people, that you open the door up for people for sarcasm, should I say, for people to say what they feel that they should say. I mean, just voice an opinion. And it might not be what you like, might not be what I like, but motherfuckers is gonna talk. And you see it every day. I am so not used to this shit. I'll be so fucking mad. The other day, I broke 2 motherfucking plates. They said, what? And here I am. You know what I'm saying? But realizing I can't let the shit get to me because I opened the door for the shit. I say, I never speak on Tupac again. But if a motherfucker asks me the question, I'm going to answer that question honestly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to keep saying the same shit. But I think we open the door for this shit, man.
We do open the door when we decide to put ourselves in the public light.
Right.
At the point that you create a social media account, the point that you get in front of the camera, the point that you start a business, when you become a YouTuber or a TikToker or a social media star or an actor, a singer, an athlete, I remember, interviewing Andre Rison, and he said, how it becomes a very different thing, like, being in sports, for example. Like, people could think they know how much money I make, but they really don't. You could Google it, but that number don't mean shit.
Right, exactly.
But when you're a professional athlete, you could Google that person's salary that year.
Right.
Oh, shit, Andre Rison got 10 million this year. Oh, shit. Okay. If you're a female, that
they're gonna jump on it.
Like I remember, Ocho Cinco did this interview where he said that his entire career he always wore fake jewelry. He always had fake watches, fake chains, fake diamond earrings.
Everybody thought that shit was real because
he said it didn't matter because whoever he's dealing with could just look up how much he makes anyways.
Exactly.
So he doesn't need the jewelry, he's talking about women in particular. He doesn't need the jewelry to attract the woman because that woman already knows how much he's worth.
Exactly.
So the jewelry, he might as well save the money and not buy the jewelry, because it doesn't matter.
He right though.
He admitted to wearing, because I remember he was on fake watch buster or something like that. Oh, he got a fake Rolex. Like, yep, I've always had fake Rolexes. It didn't matter. He was still a known athlete. He was a good-looking guy. He was well-built, and you can look up how much money he's making.
Exactly. And still had all the women.
Still had all the women. I mean, things didn't always work out for him in terms of, the El Lozada headbutt situation. But other than that, he was actually pretty good.
Shit's crazy.
Shit's crazy, man. And we live in a very different world these days and so forth. But, and I'm going to leave it at this. If the worst thing that happened to you in 2020 is a bunch of people talked about you on social media really mean,
right?
You're doing pretty well compared to most other people,
right?
That's why I never cry or complain. Like if that's the worst thing that happened to me, some people talk mean about me. Whereas there's people out there who can't pay their rent. There's people out there who lost their jobs,
right?
And that company's gone,
right?
Whole industries, people in the restaurant industry decimated, retail decimated. People can't pay their rent. People are sick. Let's not talk, fuck the money. People die. People are catching COVID. Relatives are sick.
Right.
People who recover from COVID have long lasting effects, neurological effects, effects in their lungs, and so forth. If all you're complaining about is someone saying mean things about you, man, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut the fuck up and take it like a man or a woman.
Just ignore the shit.
Yeah.
It's 9 times out of 10, the people that's talking about you ain't gonna confront you in your face anyway with it. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, that person that's talking that shit done got it from 5, maybe 20 different people, and he done watered the motherfucking conversation or the lie down so fucking much. It really don't fucking matter what they talking about.
Yeah.
But man, you have people doing good things, and then you have people that want to bring you down for that.
Right.
Because they can't get to where you at.
Right.
And just overlook it.
And use it as an opportunity to sort of shake out the people in your life that are really sincere.
Right.
And really have morals and really want to see you succeed.
Right.
And really care about you sincerely. You know what I'm saying? I got to really experience it. I got to see in 2020 how many people were really by my side. Sometimes it surprised me. Sometimes I expected certain people.
You expected more to be by your side or less?
I was surprised the number of people that actually stood by my side that I didn't even have very close relationships with at the time.
Right.
It really showed a lot.
It normally works that way.
It really surprised, like, yo, me and this person weren't even that close, and they're actually fucking with me, and like, yo, wow, like this actually means a lot. And I realized that I should have probably shifted some of my relationships and my time to those people as opposed to other people.
That's living a life that you chose to live, and the way you perceive people might not be what it really is.
Yeah.
And the ones that you look at and say, them the ones that's really a ride or die with you.
Yeah.
Opposed to those that's telling you on a daily, I got your back.
Yeah.
You my road dog.
Right.
We doing this.
Yep.
Let's go eat.
Yep.
No, it's going over there sitting over there ain't asking for a motherfucking thing.
That's right.
I'm just chilling.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I had to learn that. And that works for everybody. Yep. It happens to everybody the same way. Life is a fucking cycle. And it affects everybody the same motherfucking way. And if you bite into the bullshit, you fall into the bullshit. Some people can't get out of the bullshit once they fall into it, because you gotta do it. You gotta live that. You have to have it. But I've learned how to shake that bullshit ass energy and just be 100 with it, continue doing what I'm doing, and you don't have to worry about what another motherfucker say. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And that's how we're going to end it. Mob James.
All the time.
Always a pleasure, man.
Mr. Vlad, I love being here with you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
All
Until
good.
next time.
100.
Peace.